You're listening to the Headlock Talkover podcast, where we like wrestling and we talk about wrestling with Jack and Jeremy.
Hello, and welcome to the Headlock Talkover podcast, a podcast where we like wrestling and we talk about wrestling. Welcome to this episode where we will be talking over WCW Halloween Havoc 1995, which contained the monster truck match between the Giant and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Mental stuff, look forward to that. I am Jeremy, joined as always by Jack. How are you?
I'm very hungover, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine.
You've got swords on your shirt, I've just noticed.
Yeah.
That reference to anything? Or just because it looks cool?
Friend's tattoo shop.
Cool.
Called Circle of Swords.
Even
But
better.
they're not in a circle.
Even better.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh.
I know.
Well, anyway, let's talk over the world of wrestling for the past week or so, because it's had some interesting pieces. Shall we start with the latest episode of Raw, or what will be by the time we record?
Go on.
Only things I really want to point out is that Seth Rollins finally returned after some well-earned time off from SummerSlam. Came out to confront CM Punk after he had his incredible Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. Will this continue to Mania?
It must do.
Rollins and Punk?
It must.
There's been a lot of talk that they're gearing up for that to be the WrestleMania match, so it's whether they can sustain it for a good 5-6 months.
Well, this is a good use of Punk, I think, because I've said to you privately, he's always been fairly injury prone. He's a big star. He doesn't need to be wrestling full time.
No, of course not.
Come back, do a big feud, have some time off.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people he can be feuding with at the minute.
Yeah, I think they need to get these two major feuds sort of out of the way where there's a preconceived notion of hate between them. But after WrestleMania, I think he needs to start looking at fresher blood for his feuds.
There'll be a thing with Cena.
Yeah, that'll happen at some point in the year, but I'd like to see him do a program with Gunther, which he teased on Raw because he said he wants to go after the World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, yeah, of course.
And then maybe work with Braun or someone like that. Really elevate people, which is what I think is where he's best placed.
Braun might actually cut him in half.
Run through him.
Yeah. I don't know. I just get the impression that CM Punk's made of glass recently. But
that Hell in a Cell match would make me think differently. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I still think Braun will just mow him down.
More than likely. But
it'd somehow counter a GTS into a spear.
He'll find a way.
Punk could throw him up, and he's that explosive. He'd go
on the way down.
Yeah, straight down.
I would love to see that. And what did surprise me, because I don't remember when they had advertised it, is that we got Sami Zayn versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It was moved from Bad Blood, wasn't it?
That is such a shame. Because I think with it being on a Raw, I think there's no question who's winning.
Move this picture, man.
Looking at this picture of Gunther, and he is staring a hole into both of us.
Before we turn the cameras on, we were just looking at this picture of Gunther, and he's just... I feel like he's reading my mind.
Yeah.
And then Sammy's just there like, hey!
In fact, I'm going to put the graphic right there. Look at Gunther's face and tell me he's not staring into your soul. It's terrifying. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah.
But no, Gunther won exactly as expected. It was a chokeout, wasn't it? A referee stoppage.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I think is the best way to do that with Zayn. I think a lot of people since last WrestleMania have sort of criticised Zayn for the way he's been booked. Like there's that joke of Sammy Hogan. You know, he doesn't like to lose in certain situations. But I think Sammy's quite a good sport with stuff like that.
Sammy's one of those, he's more valuable than you think he is. He doesn't come across like that, but if you took him off the roster, you'd be like, oh, we had a good thing going there. Because he can do anything.
Precisely. Exactly. So yeah, that was Raw. SmackDown was very interesting because after Bad Blood, we got the return of Jimmy Uso, or as he's better known, Big Jim Uso.
Big Jim.
So they've gone from mistakenly putting 3 M's in his name to whittling it down to 1 for Jim. Soon he'll just be Jey Uso, and there'll be 2 of them.
Big J.
Big J and Little J. Ridiculous. Other than Bloodline stuff, there's not a huge amount. That's pretty typical of a SmackDown. We had LA Knight facing Carmelo Hayes for the US title, and as expected, LA Knight won. Surprised they put those two together after what we've talked about with their history. Backstage segments.
It was just a promo, wasn't it? Hayes tripped up on his words. And,
So something I have seen criticised quite a bit is this tag match between Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill facing Metaphor, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend.
Metaphor?
Yeah, it's an NXT thing.
Right, okay.
Do you know how long that match lasted?
No.
2 minutes.
Well, didn't... was it that match Owens came out during their entrance?
Did he? I didn't see that.
He came out during like a female tag team entrance, and I can't remember who it was.
That's the only one that was on SmackDown, unless it was the Jackson-Naomi match.
No, it was. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, I know he came out and interrupted their entrance to cut a promo.
Of course.
But,
yeah, there's been a lot of criticism with the way they've treated women in certain aspects, and that doesn't help things, because that's a Vinceism, having 2-minute women's matches.
Yeah, it is.
We'll come around to that because we've got to talk about Wrestle Dream, where there were 2 or 3 women's matches. So we'll come to that. And then we had Big Jim Uso facing Solo Sikoa. And Solo won, considering the fact that Jimmy has just come back, for them to immediately just have him take a loss. I'm not particularly happy with, but we are gearing up to what I thought was possible, because I think it was opening the show, we had Roman and Big Jim talking with each other, and Jimmy sort of says, like, there's only one other person that's in your corner here, and the whole crowd just start chanting yeet, and Roman just goes, no yeet. So Roman's very much opposed to having Jay back in the fold, but I think it's going to happen. We've got to find that 4th member for Roman's team, whether it's Sammy, could be Cody, there's plenty of options.
Rock?
Could be Rock, since he made a very surprising appearance at Bad Blood as well. We still don't know why he was there.
Well, there's those... it's not backstage cameras. It's like fan cameras, I think, of Solo saying... When The Rock came out, he's like, it's all going according to plan.
So maybe
So maybe he's working with Solo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be on the Bloodline side.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. I just want to know who that 4th member is, because Jay is a certainty to add to it. And then we've got Roman and Jim. So... chugging along on the old ragdoll, Roman and Jim.
Oh my god. Roman and Jim. Wasn't Roman's brother called Rosie?
Yes!
Brilliant.
Amazing. Incredible. But yeah, that was SmackDown.
1990s kids TV show reference for you. Get that in.
It's a good job most of our audience is in our age range, Jack, because those Gen Zers won't have a clue what we're talking about. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Wrestle Dream. So, pre-show quickly, Brian Cage won the ROH World Television Championship. Anna Jay defeated Harley Cameron. Bet she choked her out.
Probably. Oh, no, didn't she do a new finisher?
I didn't see it, I can't lie.
No, me neither.
The Acclaimed defeated MXM, and Rico accompanied MXM.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's an interesting pairing.
Awesome.
I'm glad that's a thing.
Awesome.
Those 6 together are going to have a whale of a time. And then the conglomeration defeated the Dark Order and the Premier Athletes. Okay.
Yep.
We started with what was a surprisingly good match, considering there was practically 0 build for it, and that was Jay White beating Hangman Adam Page. I think that this is just to sort of bring Page back down a bit, so whatever he does next really builds him back up again, and maybe makes him a title contender again, because they might be leaning towards that.
Maybe.
But no, Jay White wins with a Blade Runner. Pretty well-standard match, but still a good match, very good. And then we had Mariah May defeating Willow Nightingale for the Women's World Championship. These two probably two of the most over people on the women's roster in AEW.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So to put them together was
Willow.
a smart choice.
I mean, I've not watched AEW for a while, so I've kind of lost touch of it. But I remember Willow being really over.
Always very, very popular. Then we had Jack Perry defeating Katsuyori Shibata. Did you see that?
There was some weird stuff.
It was an interesting finish. So Shibata had Perry in sleeper hold, leaned back and basically grapevined his body, and both of his shoulders were on the mat, and the ref counted it.
Is the ref with the Elite?
I don't think so.
Right, okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
There might be. They might be doing an NWO thing where they have like their own ref.
Maybe. But what's more interesting was the aftermath of that particular match, because Perry continued to attack Shibata. Garcia came out. Daniel Garcia went pretty much nose to nose with Perry. I think that's what we're leaning up to next, and hopefully Garcia wins the belt then, because I think he deserves a singles run with something that isn't the ROH Pure Championship. I could see Garcia holding the TNT Championship. Then MJF came out. He's done filming whatever he was filming, the TV show he was working on. Started attacking Daniel Garcia, was cutting a promo on him saying he was making movies and making millions while he was here having like the second best bidding war of 2024.
Great line.
And then Adam Cole came back, which means I guess he's cleared. And that's going to be an interesting feud. And I saw an interesting comment that said, Adam Cole's been out so long, he's turned face again in this feud. They've swapped. It's been that long since Adam Cole's been out injured.
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, because it was he was part of Undisputed Kingdom.
Oh my, yeah.
Well, it wasn't even Kingdom by the time he got injured. They were just Undisputed with him and Roddy and Wardlow. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Where is Wardlow?
He's got a bad knee, I think.
Right.
He's injured, that's all I know. I'm pretty sure it was his knee, but I'm not sure. Then we had a match that a lot of people were expected to be match of the night. That being Will Ospreay defending his international championship against Ricochet and Konosuke Takeshita. Those three have some insane chemistry together. I mean, we knew Ospreay and Ricochet did, but you throw Takeshita in there to be like the bigger guy who can throw the other two around.
I've not seen Takeshita have a bad match yet.
I have.
Okay.
That's only because I saw it in person, though.
Right, okay.
That was the worst match of all in for me. The one he had with, I think Kenny and Hangman were there as well, which really surprised me, but I was just bored. Couldn't say more than that, I'm afraid. But exactly what you would expect from these three. Callis getting involved with screwdrivers and all sorts, exactly what you would expect.
Kyle Fletcher turned, didn't he?
He did. Kyle Fletcher turned up, attacked Will Ospreay with the screwdriver, and Takeshita got the win and is the new international champion. Called it a couple of weeks ago that Fletcher was going to turn on Ospreay. I don't know where that's going to go, because they are very different levels, those two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ospreay's good friends with Fletcher, so I think behind the scenes he probably wants to sort of lift him up. But he's not going to lose a lot. So we'll have to see. Next was a match that I didn't really pay too much attention to, I won't lie to you, because it had zero build, and it's two relatively new performers in AEW. So that was Hologram facing the Beast Mortis in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Beast Mortis was Black Taurus.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they had to change the name for a legal reason.
Oh, okay.
Is it a Black Taurus or Black Taurus?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember how you pronounce it.
I'm not too familiar
I'm
with
pretty
the
sure.
lucha scene.
Does he has horns?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got a mask.
Yeah.
As does Hologram, I believe. But it seemed like it was a very good match in ring, but there was just zero build, so I had no reason to care. Not much more I can say on that, I'm afraid. But then we get to, 3 of the next 4 of the really big matches. We had Darby Allin facing Brody King. Both big fans of both of those.
Well, I like Brody King.
You don't like Darby Allin?
You've seen one Darby Allin match, you've seen them all.
Yeah, but he's always... I don't want to say innovative, but he's innovative.
Yeah, I prefer Brody King. But yeah, Darby's good. Like he's got a connection with the fans.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting with a Darby Allin
Yeah,
match.
but it's like
yeah.
he's the modern day Jeff Hardy. That's what I can equate him to. Obviously, he's a lot smaller than Jeff Hardy, but they do similar things. They just pull crazy stunts. You know what you're getting if you see them on the card. It's no further than that. And Darby actually won by, I'm trying to remember exactly how it was. So I believe he did a coffin drop onto Brody onto the outside while he was on the steps.
Of course.
And then as Brody crawled in to break the 10 count, which was dangerously close, as he was on all fours, Darby did another one onto Brody for the win. And Brody gave him a sign of respect by shaking his hand.
I saw
after
that.
the bell.
I think they might be trying to break him away from House of Black.
And maybe turn him face.
Because I'm pretty sure that Buddy and Malachi are just waiting out their contracts at this point.
But they've got like 3 years left, haven't they? Ridiculous.
Well, if they don't want to be there, there's no point in putting them on TV, is there?
Yeah, they might have asked for their release. We'll see.
Yeah.
But Brody's a star in his own right. He's had multiple singles matches. They alluded back to the match, the Royal Rampage, it was called, a couple of years ago, where Brody won that. Him and Darby were the last two, and he won by having Darby in a sleeper hold, where he hung him off the edge of the ring. It was like almost like a hanging noose kind of thing, which was pretty cool. And then got beaten by Moxley in pretty swift fashion. So maybe they'll give him another push, and maybe he'll win a title that isn't associated with Malachi and Buddy, but we'll see.
Maybe.
It was a good match, to be fair. I was very impressed. Then we had the Young Bucks defending their World Tag Team Championships against Private Party, who were Zay and Quen. Don't like they've changed those names. I'd rather they keep their original names of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quen, because I'm a big fan of what Private Party can do in the ring. They're both very, very talented in terms of that. And it was very engaging, this match. There were moments where, despite the fact I kind of knew the Young Bucks were going to win, they really got me in thinking that Private Party might win.
I've seen some stuff online about the weird choices in this match, because they really sort of bigged Private Party up to the point where it's like, oh, they might actually win. They should win.
It worked on me.
Yeah, like they should. The fact that they got another manager that they just turned down, Stokely Hathaway was in the crowd.
Yeah.
And, Top Flight were in the crowd looking on. And just promos that they did. And it was like, they're gearing this up for them to win, then just for the Bucks to go, nah.
Yeah, I think the problem they've also got is the Young Bucks are running out of people to face.
Yeah.
So who's the reasonable person to take those belts off them now? Because I'm struggling to see it.
Pac and someone. Oh, they're trios. They're
trios champion. Yeah, Pac, Claudio, and Yuta are trios champions. So no, not them either.
Oh, I don't know.
Who's left? The Lucha Bros. They're still under contract. Anyway, shall we talk about Swerve Strickland before we get to the last two matches? So Swerve was announced to have turned up in his hometown of Tacoma, Washington, which he did do, along with Prince Nana. Then they were interrupted during Swerve's promo by MVP and Shelton Benjamin. MVP talking earlier in the month about how he wants to recruit Swerve to whatever his conglomerate is called.
The Pain faction.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And Swerve spent about 5 minutes just weighing up the pros and cons between the two of them.
Yeah, he was thinking out loud, wasn't he?
Yeah, basically. And it all boiled down to like Prince Nana's family, and you don't turn your back on family, so he said no. Broke into half a brawl. That's what I want to call it, half a brawl.
Yeah, I saw there was... they're basically tearing up Swerve versus Shelton, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly surprised Bobby didn't turn up.
I was going to say that.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I thought, and I said this to you, didn't I? I could see it perfectly. MVP coming out, cutting a promo. Here we have the best athlete in AEW. No one's ever seen anything like him. Blah, 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 blah. Gets in the ring. Swerve's like, well, thank you, but I'm turning you down. MVP goes, I wasn't talking about you.
And then Bobby's there.
I was talking about him.
Yep.
Spear. Yeah. If anyone could do that, MVP could do that. And I thought it would be...
Oh, yeah.
In my head, I had it pictured perfectly.
Such a shame that didn't happen, because I think that would have made the moment.
Because he's signed. He's under contract, Lashley. He's signed to AEW.
This is according to... Who was it?
Sportskeeda, I think.
Was it WrestleVotes? It was one of those...
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like Meltzer or Sean Ross Sapp. It was someone who's still trustworthy, but not as trustworthy as those two. I'll believe it when either of those two report it.
I mean, even if he's not signed, he's going to be signed.
Yeah.
He's turning up in AEW.
Oh, yeah.
There's no two ways
For
about
sure.
it.
Then the penultimate match was Mark Briscoe defending his ROH championship against Chris Jericho. I don't remember them feuding at all, and that's quite a mismatch of styles, particularly at Jericho's age, because he's really struggling to stay relevant now, isn't he? Like, I kind of sigh when I see a Chris Jericho match on the card at the moment. And it was a solid match as it goes. One thing that I will say now pissed me off, but you'll see later why it kind of made sense. Jericho did a J Driller on Mark, and I was begging for him to kick out at one. Because there seems to be this running theme in AEW where if you do something that disrespectful, your opponent kicks out at one.
There was a lot of kickouts at one on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They couldn't have added it to that one, but I just swapped any of them for that one. For Jay's sake, because you can't get more disrespectful than I'm going to defeat you with the finishing move of your brother who has passed away. I think that was dying for a kick out at one, and I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do it.
Mark did the J Driller.
He did for the win.
Yeah.
So I guess it turned around, but I really wanted that moment because I think the crowd would have gone mad.
I haven't seen it, but what did it look like, the J Driller?
I actually can't remember it, so it wasn't that.
Because Mark's not the biggest guy in the world, and Jericho's fairly big. And obviously Jay was a bit more built than Mark, so he could probably...
But, I mean, the Briscoes are like farm strong, though. They actually have a farm in Delaware, so I'm sure they could handle themselves.
Yeah, chicken farmers.
Exactly. And then we had the final match, which is Bryan Danielson defending the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley. Obviously, with it being Bryan Danielson as champion, if he loses, he is done as a full-time competitor. And Moxley did win. Kind of when it was Moxley. I think Danielson could have taken the moment to elevate someone, but apparently it was his decision, and he was adamant quite early on that he wanted it to be Moxley.
I mean, of everyone in AEW, I think Mox is a good choice.
He is their talisman, but I would have liked it to elevate someone.
He is like their ace in AEW. Like, anything goes on backstage, any injuries happen, it's always Mox.
Did you see what Moxley looked like during the match?
No.
I feel like he's slowly morphing into Steve Austin. He had a little bit of facial hair around the mouth, and I was like, with how gruff your voice is and that facial hair, you're turning into Steve Austin. I know you want to be AEW Steve Austin, and you kind of are, but something else would be better.
He's committed to the shaved head now, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
That hairline was clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, and he looks good with it. It works with the character because he's just a rough guy, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But he did win by ref stoppage after a sleeper hold as well. So Bryan didn't even submit or get pinned. But that's a hell of a way to end the legacy as a full-time competitor. And then we got more aftermath. We had a repeat of the bag spot, which involved Yuta turning back on Bryan.
Yeah,
Yuta
did the bag, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Put it on. Same thing. You could see Bryan's thumb under the bag, so you could see he was absolutely fine. Darby came out along with Private Party and Jeff Jarrett, of all people, to try and break things up, and they all got taken out by the Blackpool Combat Club. Darby got taped to the ring rope so he couldn't do anything, while Private Party and Jeff Jarrett got attacked by everyone else. And then by the time Danielson was essentially unconscious from the plastic bag on his head, then everyone else came down. And JR was hilarious in the moment. He said, "Where the hell have you guys been?"
Well, it's a fair question, isn't it? They're all watching on the monitors.
Yes,
Oh, God, someone should stop this.
We should do something.
Yeah.
Should we do something?
If only those people that get paid to fight for a living.
Yeah, we'll give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, see what
And then
happens.
we'll go back.
Let's see it play out.
But no, that's everything from Wrestle Dream. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I know there was one particular thing you wanted to talk about.
Well, it's
fun fact.
just an interesting fact. So, Daniel Bryan,
Yep.
when he was in WWE,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember who his last opponents were?
Yes, I do. Before he retired the first time.
From the final run he had.
Okay, it was. I know Reigns was the last one, wasn't it?
Reigns was his last SmackDown match.
Oh, a Raw match for Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So,
And then his final full-time match as a performer was John Moxley.
Yeah, so...
Tell me the Shield weren't influential on the business.
The Shield will run the
Oh,
wrestling
man.
business. So when you told me you had a fun fact, and I have one in return. Now, I don't know if you knew this. Do you know why Darby Allin paints his face the way he does?
Because he's got a shit tattoo on his forehead.
No.
I don't
That
know.
was... He had the face paint well before he had that shit tattoo on his forehead. They explained it during commentary, and I don't know why I didn't know it.
I don't know, no.
It's a reference to him considering himself being half dead from surviving a car crash that his uncle passed away from. So it's kind of an homage to his uncle.
I think I did know
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. Anything else before we jump into the episode, Jack?
Well, no.
Fair.
I want to drink some water.
You go get yourself a drink of water.
Yeah.
In the meantime, go enjoy us talking over WCW Halloween Havoc 1995. Please give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, follow on TikTok or Instagram if you are on there. Let us know what other episodes you'd like us to cover in future. Let us know what you think of this episode. Enjoy the episode.
Okay, right. Let's just get this out the way first.
Yeah, we should probably give some context here.
So, when we decided to do this podcast and we spoke about the name and got everything ready and logistics and things, this was the first episode that we ever recorded, and it was crap.
Not only was it crap, the audio was unusable.
Yeah, we
So-
thought we could use two microphones sat next to each other and all sorts.
It didn't work. So we scrapped it and ended up doing December to Dismember instead. So we're going to do it now because we're in the middle of spooky season.
Yeah, I got my spooky shirt. We're doing Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, Halloween Havoc
95.
1995. And I forgot how shit this pay-per-view was.
I've not watched it since we tried to do it last.
Me either. Jesus.
I was reading my notes because I've still got the notes from the first time. And on here I've written Flair attacked by Arnhem Pillman, Sushi, Heenan's face, Red Dwarf, and then Flat Tire in capital letters. And I'm really excited to see what that means.
Let's see if we can put it together. Oh, I forgot about those fucking icons they did for the commentators and all of the entrances.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, so that was what was fucking that thing. Yeah, so next to Shivani's name, you had a fucking weird Easter Island statue, and then next to Heenan's head, it's like a fucking really gaunt Frankenstein with a little pumpkin badge. He's there like.
Oh, look at them revving the monster trucks up on the roof.
Yeah, and they're teeing up Hogan versus the Giant in a monster truck match for the World Championship.
Right, so now they're talking about Flair being attacked by Pillman and Arn.
Which is why he's not there. That was context for the tag match that happens later on.
Yes.
Okay.
He doesn't have a friend with Sting. I'll tell you who he does have a friend with. You got a friend in me.
Oh, fuck. What was his name?
Randy Newman.
Randy Newman. I was going
He
Newman.
said sushi just then, but I didn't hear why.
Oh, there you go. I was thinking of John Newman, the composer. That's what I was thinking.
John Newman?
Thomas Newman. Fuck me.
Thomas Newman?
Thomas Newman. He did the soundtrack for American Beauty and Wall-E and all sorts.
Right. Oh, that's why it looks like Red Dwarf, because it's like
Oh my
shit
God.
sci-fi doors. It looks like a Red Dwarf set. Okay.
Well, like Robot Wars.
Yeah, anything Craig Charles.
Two of
is
Craig
in,
Charles' best
apparently.
works, yeah.
Takeshi's Castle.
I said two of. I
Okay,
said two
good,
of,
good,
not the
good.
two. Although I like both of those more than Takeshi's Castle, so
Oh, I used to love Takeshi's Castle.
I want to be on it.
He's got in the drink, you wazzock! Oh, so good.
Wazzock is such a scouse insult.
My my friend, my old housemate, who I lived with, because that's what a housemate is, he once messaged me and said, can you come to a pub that's local to here? I'd rather not say where it is. But it was a Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
And he said, come down to the Wetherspoons. He said, you'll love it. And I was like, all right. Craig Charles was sat at the bar having a pint.
Fucking hell.
I didn't meet him because he was surrounded by loads of people and I didn't want to... I mean, he was having a pint, you know what I mean?
Sorry to interrupt you. Here's your context for the flat tyre. It's Johnny B. Bad. And he's late to the show because he had a flat tyre.
Oh, I remember. It's insinuated that...
DDP and Simon Diamond gave him the flat tyre.
Simon Diamond, that is Max Muscle.
Max Muscle. He's had so many lackeys.
I know.
They all blur into one. And we haven't watched this pay-per-view in almost a year now, so forgive me.
When we did this first time, I listened to Eric Bischoff's podcast on this episode, and he tried to explain who Max Muscle was, and Eric Bischoff had no idea. He said he came from the power plant, which was like their developmental thing, and then
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all he knew.
Didn't know where he came from before that. Didn't know where he went after that. Just some big guy who's half the size of Johnny B. Bad and DDP. I know DDP's really tall, but
we jump straight into their match, which is for the TV Championship. DDP going into this as the champion and Johnny B. Bad challenging. And here comes Kimberly.
Do you remember what that little fact I said to you about Kimberly?
No.
So I found out fairly recently that she was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh yes, of course, of course. She dropped a titty in that film.
I don't remember that.
She definitely dropped a titty in that film.
So DDP here, I think there's too many gimmicks going on. He's got two different valets.
Yeah.
One that hates him, one that doesn't. It's so strange.
And literally, less than a year later, he would do the bum gimmick. Because that was Uncensored 96, and this is Halloween Havoc.
Gimmick?
Yeah, well, ironically, he faced the booty man, so yes, bum gimmick.
That's why I was getting confused. Oh, you mean like the
Hobo.
down and out
Yeah.
gimmick? Yeah. Bum gimmick.
Yeah, that was unintentional as well.
Bum intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's
Anyway.
sake. See, he's not cannon that fires confetti. Like, how many gimmicks do you want?
He can have as many gimmicks as he likes.
You wouldn't look at him here and go, he's going to be the MVP of WCW, like their sort of franchise player.
He continues to be a kind of MVP in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, he's very inspirational now with some of the work he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's changed people's lives.
Yeah. He's saved people.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny B. Bad.
Proper 50s song to bring him out.
Well, he was supposed to be like a Little Richard ripoff.
Yeah, I know Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
But that is not Johnny B. Bad coming down the ramp. That's a decoy, and Johnny B. Bad's already got in the ring.
You know, Vince was a massive fan of Johnny B. Bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he an Armstrong? I'm mixing him up with someone.
You're definitely mixing him up.
It might be because it's Bad Street.
He was Mark Miro.
Yes.
In WWE.
Yeah.
Sable's.
I remember Mark Miro.
Yeah. Sable's
Yeah, I think it's because it's
partner.
Bad with two Ds, and Bad Street was Bad with two Ds.
Yeah, that was Brad Armstrong.
Yeah. He does look quite different from his Mark Miro days, for some reason, to me.
Too much tan. I think because they wanted him to be Little Richard.
Did he still have that long hair, though, in WWE as Mark Miro? Was it shorter? Yeah, DDP's like in the fans.
Not sure. Because it's very mullety, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's because of the Little Richard thing, like you said.
Yeah. He's got a bucket. Why has that fan got a bucket?
I don't know, but Johnny B. Bad puts it on DDP's head and then just goes, "Ugh," like that's supposed to do something.
If I pulled a bucket out of a crowd, especially a crowd full of wrestling fans, the first thing I would do was not put it on someone's head.
I'd make sure it's empty. Well, if I'm putting it on my opponent, yeah, but I'd empty it at least.
Yeah. Why is the ref stood on the apron as well?
I think he was following them to the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
But still. So now we've had puking, we've had piss buckets. Wrestling's wild, isn't it?
Already. What are these two guys doing? Like older guys in like tuxedos just making their way through the crowd. Oh, I remember now. They really, really try and sell these monster trucks, don't they?
Yeah. It's the whole show, basically.
Like saying you can hear them on the roof and... literally, as I said that, he just said it. You can hear the vibrations on the roof. I think you feel vibrations, Heenan. You don't see them. No, you do see them, don't you?
I think they also let it slip that it's like pre-recorded. Like they've already had the monster truck match.
Yeah. I know they did. That was pre-recorded, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so how could you still hear them on the roof? Or feel the vibrations on the roof?
This is WCW in 1995.
You're right, best not to question it. Don't question it.
Oh, that kip up didn't look great, did it? That wouldn't look better.
DDP's helping him up.
Yeah.
I think at that point.
I think you do because it's to make it look better and it's like energy as well. You're helping them not gas out.
Michaels and McIntyre never needed any help.
True. What? You telling me I pulled his hair like this? This is fully grown men arguing about who's pulling whose hair.
Yeah.
Oh, wrestling is so good. Kimberly's really ripped, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like when it shows her, you see her arms. She's got properly defined arms.
Well, being around the power plant as often as she probably was, it makes sense that she'd learn a thing or two.
Yeah, I think
You've pointed out her calves before. On the episodes.
Excuse me, her baby cows.
Oh yes,
Yeah, because they were massive. Remember?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not editing that again.
When you look at a really big muscly calf, there's always a line up the middle of it, and it looks like two teardrops together. Is what I'm trying to do. Not bum.
I get it.
Right. Okay.
Definitely not bum.
Maybe she had a bum gimmick.
DDP's the bum.
Stop talking about bums.
Okay, I'll talk about DDP's crotch now. There's a fucking yellow diamond all over it for some reason.
Yeah, it's all shiny as well,
yeah,
isn't it?
he's vajazzled himself. There's one in his ass as well, actually.
What if it's like a little flap?
Why?
This guy in the back is fuming.
Wearing the white t-shirt.
Oh yeah, he's desperately trying to get like Paige's attention.
Just
He's
stands
like,
up at everything.
You! I mean, I bet there is some characters in that crowd. Mid-90s.
In America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is this? Do you remember where this is?
I don't, actually. I feel like I would have written it down, but I didn't.
I feel like it's in the South.
That was WCW's wheelhouse, so yeah.
Especially monster trucks and... Oh, this is another one of DDP's gimmicks, isn't he? He gets Kimberly to rate the moves that he's doing in the ring.
And she's constantly giving tens. I think that's the only card she's
got.
got.
He stands up going like this, doesn't he? Like, oh, camera. Yeah, like that.
There you go.
Hey!
There you go. That was
the pancake.
It was part pile driver, part Styles Clash.
Part pedigree.
Yeah.
He uses a pedigree in this, doesn't he?
I don't remember him doing so.
There's quite a famous story that he was using the pedigree, and it was Triple H phoned him up and said, "Look, man, I've started really trying to get this move over," and he started using the cutter.
Yeah, DDP's like, yeah, say no more.
Yeah, and then Diamond Cutter in WCW in the later years was like the move.
The cutter will always get a pop, regardless of what variation it is.
his thing as well. Like Randy Orton sort of made it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But DDP was the first one to do that, and it was literally his thing was I can hit it from any position on anybody out of nowhere. So he was hitting it from like torture racks and power bomb counters and things, and people were really excited to see it happen.
And now you've got Cody and Ospreay as well with their own versions of the cutter. So it's quite a versatile move.
It is such a good move. Such a good move.
It's really simple as long as you don't mind landing on your back hundreds of times over your life.
That's the only trouble. Orton, with all of his back problems, at this point he couldn't change that finisher.
No.
And people would feel cheated if you saw a Randy Orton match and he won with... I was just trying to think of a move, but
the overdrive.
Anything other than the arcade.
The fucking overdrive.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Or what was his finisher before that? It was a crossbody, wasn't it? It was a diving crossbody.
Oh, no. That should not be a finisher.
You see Kimberly then turn around to the fans and go,
Cut.
oh my God, Sabu's on this card.
Is he?
He definitely is.
As I said, it's been a year since we've watched this. I genuinely don't remember.
What is DDP's tattoo? Cards and dice?
I don't know. I think they're that old as tattoos that they faded enough where you can't make out what they are.
I had a friend once. I've not seen him for a while. He sadly lost his dad, and he said one thing he always used to take the mick out of his dad was for he had a skull with a sword through it and a snake wrapped around it.
Right.
And he said it looked like a grape on a toothpick with a bit of rope wrapped around it. And then when his dad passed, as like a tribute to his dad, he actually got a grape with a toothpick through it and some rope, and it was so good.
That's so sweet.
He took he had a picture of his dad's tattoo, and he said, "I want it to be this shape," but yeah,
these three things instead. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
That is really
such a cool idea. Yeah, look at Kimberly's triceps.
Mm.
She's been doing her kickbacks.
Yep.
And her bench.
And her pull downs.
Yeah.
I've seen a gym or two in my time.
Yeah, I've been in a gym.
I've got friends called Jim.
This match goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering how short this pay-per-view is as well.
They're both good performers, though.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of Be Bad or Miro from their work. I've seen bits and pieces.
He was a pretty legit tough guy. He was
genuine boxer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a boxer. And then he was always a good sport with like gimmicks, and I mean he managed to turn his wife being more over than him into a gimmick. I mean that can sometimes be like the kiss of death.
Yeah, definitely.
If your manager is more over than you, but he turned it into a thing and got some mileage out of it.
Yeah. Sabre was just that like optimal level of 90s attractiveness. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like how Rhea Ripley's more popular than anyone she tends to be associated with at the moment.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I mean, Ripley obviously is very good.
She's very good in the ring,
does.
and she just looks different. Look at Max Muscle gently tapping on the apron. Come on.
DDP.
Oh, that's probably what he's trying to do. It's like 3 syllables and all I could come up with was... Come on.
I like this wrist lock move that they've got between them, like a tug of war between themselves.
I like the way DDP sells. Because he sells moves like twice. Like he sells and then sells again.
He really does oversell in this match.
He does a lot at this time, if I remember. Heenan says you've got to watch Johnny B. Bad's left hand. It was a right hook.
Yeah. I've just realised as well that DDP's bleeding from his eye. We didn't even spot that the first time round we covered this.
No.
He's bleeding from that eye.
Oh,
Our left,
is.
his right. I don't know how that happened.
See, that's what I mean. Like, Miro does an atomic drop. And he does that like they do in the US office where they go, parkour!
Yeah. DDP's like, it hurts so much.
It's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, nice little tilt-a-wall head scissors from Miro there. Guy that size shouldn't be able to do that.
Is that the most anticlimactic top rope move ever?
Yeah, well, just the axe handle.
A double axe handle. Oh, and Kimberly's given it a 10.
Kimberly's given Johnny B. Bad's axe handle a 10.
I mean, it wasn't. He only hit him with like one fist. He
Yeah.
kind of missed it a little bit.
That was a risky ass powerbomb.
Somehow he picked him up and Johnny B. Bad's leg landed over DDP's arm. I don't quite know how that's possible.
To its same flexibility, I guess.
The Diamond Dream. It's a bulldog type maneuver or a DDT, he said.
Take your pick.
Yeah. That's like saying, I'm going to call my move the... Oh, shit, something Jack related. Jack Hammer. No. Jack, the Jack. The car Jack.
Okay.
And it's a slam or a suplex or a pin is what it is. So watch out for that.
Isn't a jackhammer literally all three of those things?
Yeah, fair enough.
A suplex, a slam, and then a pin.
Didn't not Bianca, Jade do a jackhammer at Bash of Berlin?
I don't remember her doing a jackhammer, but I can't lie to you, Jack, didn't really watch all of that match. Because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I wasn't all that invested. And neither are you by the looks of things.
What?
Yeah.
No one's... Oh, they're stood too close.
A 6-1, no.
Yeah.
Oh, a plancha though, that'll do.
A 6-1 no.
Yeah.
Is that a German 6-1-9?
Yeah, why not? You got Kaiser on the brain, you have.
Haven't we all?
Nope.
No.
Just you.
Okay.
Just you.
Fair enough. Oh, this is his finisher.
It's that lucky punch like Logan Paul. But Max Muscle's holding bad back. But DDP knocks Max Muscle down. The roll up. Not there yet.
What just happened then? That was so weird.
Yeah, Muscle went to hold Johnny B. Bad on the outside in like a bulldog, run into the posts. Bad pushes him and Max stops it. So what was the point in any of that? Nobody got hurt.
That slow motion turn into the punch. He goes, ah.
And after Max Muscle inadvertently clotheslines DDP,
Was
Johnny
that for
B.
a
Bad
belt?
wins.
That was for a belt.
Yeah, TV title.
Ah. How about that, says Shivani. There's a German flag.
Bloody is as well. And Kimberly's so happy.
How long? They were on screen, an on-screen pairing for a long time, and every time we've seen them together,
Kimberly's turned on him.
Kimberly's just so happy that someone else has won.
You're right about that punch to Muscle. It's basically a donkey punch because he's not looking at Johnny B. Bad when he hits. So Tony and Bobby sort of talk about how this is the Giants' first ever match. And Bobby, trying to be funny, says he doesn't know if either of them can drive.
Yeah. Because Hogan gets limos everywhere is the joke, isn't it?
And the Giants, so obviously he's a big stupid.
So Heenan starts burying how stupid it is.
Yeah.
So if they're hooked bumper to bumper, if one goes off the roof, they both go off the roof. Or maybe it's just foreshadowing.
Maybe. It's not, though.
Well, someone goes off the roof.
Not in a monster truck.
No, they don't.
It's Zodiac!
From the land of yin and yang.
Just because he's got black and white trunks and wrist tape and face paint, he's yin and yang.
You know who that is, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
Didn't quite realise before I started watching it, though.
He had so many gimmicks.
This might be his worst of the 3 I've seen.
Worse than the Booty Man.
Yes, this is worse than the Booty Man.
Okay, fair enough.
I can get behind a butt, for lack of a better term. I can't get behind whatever this zebra monstrosity is that poor Brutus Beefcake has been subjected to.
Yeah, madness. So this was originally supposed to be Kamala against Randy Savage.
Okay.
But apparently Kamala didn't want to do the job, so he quit. They do mention it on commentary. They say Kamala was scared of Savage.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, let's be honest. Kamala, I don't want to do the job against Randy Savage. You ain't fucking winning that match anyway.
No. Oh, there's a ghost mincing across the screen for Macho Man's little lower third. And there he is again. There's a bunch of that, different Halloween icons mincing across the screen.
Yeah. I heard a story. Cody Rhodes said that Macho Man was his favourite wrestler when he was a kid, because when Dusty used to take him to other events, he had various interactions with the wrestlers, and apparently one he remembers very clearly. He said he was about 7 or 8. Macho comes up to him and goes, "Hey, Code, how many push-ups can you do?" Cody's like, "I don't know, 10? Let's do 10 push-ups." And got down there and did 10 push-ups with him. That's so good.
That's an absolute Macho Man thing to do.
Speaking of Macho Man thing, he's working this with a torn tricep.
Yeah, he's very taped up. So
he is very taped up.
Good job it's his left arm, otherwise I don't think he'd be able to do this, really. Who's that getting in the ring?
It's a fan.
It's a fan.
So a fan gets in the ring, and this is how professional both of those two are.
They don't stop.
The referee is absolutely struggling with it. They pull the camera away from the ring outside.
And the ref just deals with it.
Yeah. They mention it on commentary as well. Like, they play it off and say, "Oh, the fans are cheering." They're obviously cheering because the fan got in the ring, but they're saying that they're cheering because of all the violence outside.
You could just see in the corner, just him getting dragged away by all the security.
And you can see Savage looking back in the ring to see if it's good to go back in. But the crowd go mad for it. And there you see, I don't even know what to call him, Zodiac, looking to see whether it's good to go back in. Here's where they start talking about Kamala being afraid.
Obviously, with Randy Savage. Zodiac misses a jump from the top rope. Macho Man immediately goes for the elbow drop.
It's weird because he goes for the... Zodiac misses from the top, and there's a weird pause where I think Savage must say to him, "I'm going to do the drop now."
Yeah.
But it's just like...
Yeah, I think
it goes on a little bit too long.
I think the match was supposed to be short. You sort of see Zodiac just sort of sit up for a second and just look.
I think it's because he does have a torn tricep during this, and he has another match later on, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's for a vacant championship, I think.
But he did this so many times. Savage would wrestle multiple times in a night, like twice, 3 times. It was kind of like his thing.
Particularly during the NWO times, I think it was a big part of it, wasn't it? Because obviously we're pre-NWO at this point. Well, pre-NWO where everyone and their mum was a member.
This is where they really start pushing that WCW hotline, don't they?
Yeah. You want to call it this time?
I do. I am going to call it. Oh, you can't even read the number now.
Oh, they were smart with this one.
Oh, yeah. I remember what happens here. They've got the font up on the writing. Doesn't Gene spank the writing away?
Oh, is it perfect timing?
It's so good. If I remember,
he
just goes.
right.
Come on, Gene. Don't let us down.
Oh, it's close. It was so close. It's like a half-second delay, but he's backstage with Johnny B. Bad, who's celebrating his TV title win.
It's a good-looking belt.
Yeah.
Bit small.
Very old school, that's why.
Yeah. It's got the globe on it. Was it TV title?
Yeah. Yeah, I will say Johnny B. Bad's voice doesn't quite match up with what you think it would. There is no gravel in that voice whatsoever. Almost sounds like fucking Mankind.
Yeah, it's like high, but it's low at the same time. It's.
I'll tell you what, Mean Gene. You got a bit of that going on.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Right, we got Road Warrior Hawk in singles action next.
This is Kurosawa.
Yes. So the story going into this is that Hawk had his arm broken, I think by Kurosawa.
So this is quite interesting because Kurosawa was a guy that New Japan were quite high on, and they sent him on an excursion to WCW to learn the American style. And because the Road Warriors spent a lot of time in Japan, they knew the Japanese style. It was sort of like a seamless transition. But they were very high on him, and they wanted to push him. He won the New Japan Young Lions Cup.
Oh, okay.
Sort of around this. I don't know if it was around this time. I don't know if it was before or after this, but yeah, they wanted to really get behind him.
I'll tell you one thing though, hindsight's a funny thing, and the fact we've covered a WCW pay-per-view recently around this time. Kurosawa is accompanied by Corporal Parker, or Colonel Parker, should I say?
Colonel Robert Parker,
the gentleman who beat the shit out of Medusa on pay-per-view.
Yep.
Anyway, here comes Hawk to a massive pop as expected.
Well, their gimmick was, we have big pops. The Road Warrior pop.
Well, what's Animal doing at this point? Is he not in the company? Is he injured? Because a year later they're attacked him again.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Now, because it's been a year since we've seen this, and we've talked about it before, does he do a pile driver to the outside? Or drop kick from the outside? Or sell a pile driver?
We'll have to see, won't we? If I remember, I think this is frustratingly short.
Just throwing himself at Kurosawa.
It was going to be hard hitting.
It's a Road Warrior Hawk match, of course it is. My God, I remember none of this.
He's goofy, they say. That's such a good line. Such a good line from Heenan. That chop sounded like a fat girl sitting on a beanbag. Absolutely ridiculous.
Now we know where Jerry Lawler got it from. Because that's the kind of shit he would say as well.
Yeah. God, so strong. I think when the Road Warriors were designing their gimmicks, I can't remember which one said, but one's got the mohawk and then one's got the two stripes down the side because they wanted it to look like they'd run headfirst into each other.
Yeah.
But like Hawk obviously came off worse with that because I'd rather walk around with a mohawk
than with an opposite of a mohawk.
Yeah, do the old Keith Flint from
That's
the Prodigy.
it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Hell of a clothesline as well. He really gets him over, doesn't he?
The whole match is very stiff, I think. Hawk takes out Parker.
Doesn't drop kick him though.
No, clothesline from the apron.
Weird kind of moves from Kurosawa.
Well, it was like a Samoan drop, wasn't it?
And that is mad. That is mad.
Yeah.
Like Road Warrior Hawk loses. The Road Warriors did not lose.
Well,
at this time.
It helps that Parker was holding Kurosawa's foot on the rope, so he had a lot of leverage on it, so it wasn't clean. However, the bell did ring very late. So maybe there was a miscommunication of some kind.
Because that's not a very Japanese thing to do, is it?
Nope.
Like feet on the ropes,
But,
cheating.
I mean, that's why Parker's there, I guess.
Yeah. Because this is before Bullet Club.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Bullet Club, one of the reasons they got over, like, original Bullet Club with Devitt and everyone, they were doing stuff that just did not happen in Japan, like weapon shots and beat downs after the match and really going to town on the microphone against people.
Are you ready for an absolutely wild interview? I remember this. So, Miji's trying to talk to camera to talk to Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan, and Macho Man's just pacing in front of him. So he's just walking across the camera before his interview.
Gene's face, look, he's just like,
Oh, what is happening?
But this was all off the cuff. Whenever Savage did this, he'd just be making it up as he goes along. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You're telling me.
Doesn't he start talking about cats?
Maybe. Your mustache is crooked. Well, your beard's a little sideways. Okay.
That's okay. What is Savage doing? Like,
yeah, you try to do that thing that you would do as a kid. That. I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do it.
so, yeah, I'm not good at many things in this world, but that I was really good at.
Well, at least it's something that's useful.
Yeah. We started talking about something for a minute, and he's talking about machine versus machine.
I think maybe he's talking about Hogan and fucking Giant later on. That whole interview was absolutely bonkers.
It makes it so much better because he's so animated, and he keeps going like away from the microphone, so the volume like peaks
It's
and
funny,
drops
particularly
out.
when you're like quite animated about it.
Here we go. Here we go. JL versus Sabu.
I know who JL is.
Good. I was going to ask.
You got to infer from the context clues there.
I was going to ask if you remembered.
I forgot about this though. Like I forgot Sabu was on the card, so obviously I forgot about JL.
So I mentioned it in the previous match, but there's a working agreement with New Japan at the minute and WCW, and that is why Sabu is here.
Is he in New Japan at the time?
Yes.
Right. Well, he spent most of the early 90s in Japan, didn't he?
Yeah. But I mean, unless you were like a hardcore tape trader around this time,
Yep.
you would not have known who Sabu was.
And is that the original Sheik with him?
That's his uncle, the original Sheik, yeah, who's like 70 in this. But these two would have great matches. I mean, it's Jerry Lynn. I haven't mentioned it.
That's what the JL stands for.
Yeah. I mean, these two would have matches in ECW.
And this is starting out exactly how you'd expect a Sabu match to start.
Completely wipes out his uncle.
Yeah.
Does a moonsault.
Overshoots it.
Yeah.
Kicks the Sheik in the head.
Apparently, that broke his uncle's leg.
Fucking hell.
Doing that.
No wonder we don't see him again.
I think he shoots a fireball, if I remember. Sabu just eats shit, like jumps off the stairs.
God. Yeah, I don't remember seeing the Sheik for the rest of this match.
So Jerry Lynn hadn't been in ECW at this point.
Okay.
And the reason they put him in a mask is because, I mean, Jerry Lynn is possibly one of the best in-ring technicians like ever, like very underrated. They didn't think he had the charisma to make it, so they stuck him in a mask.
He's not known for his look, is he, Jerry Lynn?
No. And when he cuts promos, it does sound like he's reading from a script. But he wasn't. His promos weren't his like forte. Like being in the ring was his bread and butter.
He let his wrestling do the talking. Sabu, on the other hand, very unique and charismatic in what he does.
This match as well, it's just an ECW match. Like there's no sort of in-ring psychology. It's just move, spot, and It's very reminiscent of what would happen in a few months from this point, where the WCW would bring in the cruiserweights.
Oh, okay.
So they haven't done that yet, but this is basically what the cruiserweight division would become.
See. Is this? I'm questioning your timeline here, but I'm sure you'll know. Is this before the ECW switch?
What do you mean? What do you mean switch? Sorry.
From Eastern to Extreme.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think. I don't know when that Douglas promo was.
I think it is. Because I think the reason Sabu is in Japan is because he's already been fired from ECW.
Oh, okay.
Because he got fired publicly in ECW for no showing because he took a date in Japan.
Right. Oh, yeah, the Sheik is there. He's managed to hobble to the ring again.
Although he's just smashing that machete on the floor.
Yeah. You can tell how he's...
Is it a machete or is it a cutlass?
Cutlass, that's it.
Cutlass.
He's walking quite gingerly, though, so yeah, broken leg sounds right.
Yeah, very, very short. There's a fireball, and the camera just completely misses it. Look.
Yeah. Good job it's a fireball, otherwise you wouldn't have known.
So apparently Sabu, he wasn't in WCW very long. I think he had a match with Alex Wright.
Okay.
On Nitro or Thunder, maybe. Yeah, he didn't have that many. But apparently he found out he was fired because of the hotline. They didn't tell him he was fired. Someone told him, "You've been fired." They're mentioning it on the hotline. And he had to phone the hotline.
To find out.
And that was one of the news things that they would say, like, "Oh, we've had to fire Sabu."
Ridiculous.
That is one of the most WCW things.
Yeah. Having to find out you're fired that way.
When you'd have to pay to find. This is where they're talking about the Giant showing up for the first time. So when he first came in, they billed him as Andre the Giant's son, and he wanted to get revenge on Hogan.
Yeah.
And that got dropped pretty fast. Do you know much about the Dungeon of Doom?
A little bit. Is that am I mixing it up? No, I'm thinking of the Heart Dungeon. It was the thing with Kevin Sullivan in, yes?
Yeah. So they basically all Hulk Hogan's friends. So Zodiac's part of the Dungeon of Doom.
It's the Master and Taskmaster. I remember that because this is absolutely insane as well.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, it was really over the top. It was really campy. It was just done so that Hogan could work with his friends.
Who's the Master?
Basically. I can't remember.
Because it doesn't look like a wrestler.
So in the build up to this as well, I think they shaved Hulk Hogan's mustache off.
Yes, they had. They pointed that out. We've just found out as well that this takes place in Detroit, Michigan, which is not a southern state. So Master cuts I want to say laboured promo.
He's shouting, and you kind of get every third, fourth words that he's saying.
And he sounds like he's out of breath from shouting. Like that's taking up too much energy. And Kevin Sullivan is just staring into the camera like he's trying to remember if he's left the fucking oven on.
Yeah, he looks so bored. I don't know what's going on with his makeup, face paint.
It's like Abdullah the Butcher's head. That's what it looks like.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? He just looks so incredibly bored. Is he mic'd up as well? Like, what is this?
Yeah, Sullivan's mic. I think that's how he did it because Master's obviously not holding a mic. I think that's why he's screaming at Sullivan because he's got the mic attached to his singlet. So I never noticed that.
So Kevin Sullivan's job here is just microphone.
Well, he's talking now, and Jesus.
What he's talking about now is the insurance policy, and the insurance policy was a block of ice
that we didn't know what was inside.
You saw it on the previous Nitro, and then you see a character break through this block of ice, and you see what would be the Yeti for a split second, and that was the go home show to this basically. We'll get to that.
We sure fucking will. Oh, I've just looked at what's next in my fucking notes. I completely forgot about this. Oh, this fucking pay-per-view, Jack.
It's like a fever dream, isn't it?
Why did we have to watch this twice?
Yeah.
I'd rather upload the broken audio.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I knew you'd forgotten about this as well.
This was extremely uncomfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we've got me and Gene, we've got Jimmy Hart, we've got Hulk Hogan, sans mustache,
Yeah.
all in black, and 4 complete strangers who have won a motorbike. And Hulk Hogan is there to present them with the motorbike. 3 of the 4, I think, are wearing either denim or suede jackets.
And I remember now, because the mum has got right thirst eyes for Hogan.
She's staring at him right now, and she's got the biggest grin on her face. And then the daughter stood there like, who the fuck is this old man?
And that the dad, who I assume is the dad, has not taken his eyes off that bike the entire time.
What fucking... who does he look like?
He looks like... is it Chris Parnell?
Oh, that's not the dad, I don't think. I think... old beardy boy here.
Oh, right.
I think that's the dad. The bloke you're pointing about, he does look like fucking Chris Parnell, though. I'm thinking, there's Barry White in there. There's Michael McDonald in there. There's that fucking bloke who used to host Fact or Fiction. Do you remember that show?
No. I tell you,
if they know, they'll know. But he looks like that.
He looks like. What the fuck? Why can't I remember his name?
What did he do?
English actor, very loud voice.
Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed.
Do me a favour and just look up the TV show I'm referring to. It was called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
Okay.
And then look up the host and tell me that's not who that looks like in a certain way. There's a bit of that.
Isn't that Richard Frakes, or what's his name?
I couldn't remember his name.
Jonathan Frakes. What the fuck is his name? Frakes, something Frakes.
Jonathan Frakes.
Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, he was in Star Trek, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. So, he looks a bit like him, but with a bigger beard.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
So, we've got Jonathan Frakes. We've got Chris Parnell. The daughter looks a bit like Alison Pill from Scott Pilgrim.
Who?
Alison Pill.
Oh, I thought... sorry, I got confused.
Do you think I was saying Alison Brie?
No. What's her face who plays Anne in Arrested Development? Mae Whitman.
Oh, Mae Whitman.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that, yeah. But she looks like Alison Pill, who's Kim, the drummer from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I can see it now, yeah.
The mum, fuck knows.
I don't know.
Stop looking in the camera, Mum.
What are you going to do with this bike? I'm going to straddle it. He said, and I'm going to ride it.
Thanks, buddy. Who thought this was a good idea?
It's gone on uncomfortably long, isn't it?
Why do you need all 4 of them? What you do is you bring all 4 of them in, have a chat with them all, figure out which one is best on camera, and just bring them.
And somehow, all of the actual ones that are used to being on TV, so Gene, Hogan, and Jimmy Hart, I stood in front of them the whole time.
Yeah. That was fucking insane.
It was madness, wasn't it?
So Heenan makes fun of that family that were receiving the motorbike, and he says that they lived in like a trailer, and then he forgets the term for paddling pool.
Is that when he starts going?
One of those. He forgets the term paddling pool.
Shivani's just like, keep going. Go on.
You've dug this hole. Live in it.
You've dug this.
Yeah.
Hole.
Tony takes the piss out of him for it, and Heenan goes, I ought to thump you.
Oh, man.
Incredible. It's not often Heenan messes up like that, though, to be fair. You got to make the most of it.
Well, you could never tell if he did, because he was so good at hiding.
He would play it off.
Yeah.
But when you stood there for 5 seconds going like that, you can't really play that off.
Hang on a second.
Yep. It's not on camera. That's not quite got the same impact, does it?
It's the head of. It's the real head of the table here.
Meng.
It is Meng.
And we've got Kevin Sullivan again.
Sullivan ducking all that rubbish that's being thrown at
It's
him.
still all hit him, though.
I completely forgot that Meng was in Dungeon of Doom. Is that Jacob Fatu?
It looks a bit like Jacob Fatu, doesn't it?
It's mad. It is mad. They're not biologically related, but they're a spitting image of each other.
I've just noticed that tombstone said Crockett. One of those tombstones said Crockett.
Oh, that's spicy.
That's a dig, isn't it?
That is spicy. Beloved. Okay, right.
Beloved, and then that next one says Crockett. What the hell?
Jesus.
Talk about taking shots. Oh, that sign spelled package wrong. The total package.
Package.
No K.
With an I.
The PACAGE.
Okay.
What were you saying about crowds in the mid-90s?
Madness.
Yeah, Lex Luger versus Meng.
So these are two guys that were known for their characters, not their wrestling ability. I think Haku was serviceable in the ring.
That's because he was genuinely dangerous. But he was a good sport, at least. Did the job when he needed to.
Yeah. I think he did the job a lot.
And now he's doing a very different job. Do you remember the name of the company? Because I can't remember which car company it was that he's a salesman for now.
Oh, no. No, but there's that advert, isn't there, doing the rounds?
I was going to say, because we could tell the audience which one it is and look it up. Because it's insane. You get all these, like, relatively normal-looking people, and then, oh fuck, it's Haku.
I can't remember what he said. We will look after your car.
Yeah, like in top condition.
I tell you what made me laugh as well, and this is just because I work in retail. Mm-hmm. He's the only one not wearing a name badge. You imagine directing it, or the owner of the company's there, like, Tonga, we need you to wear a name badge. What? No, it's fine. Perfect take.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect take. Yeah. You know what? We're going to go home. We'll pay for the rest of the day.
This is your car lot now. See you later.
Yeah. Sullivan looks so bored.
Yep.
I know the feeling.
Actually, I'd like to point you to this line in my notes. Would you like to read that out to the class?
Even Kevin Sullivan looks bored.
I got a feeling this isn't going to be a good match.
He's all over this card as well, isn't he?
He's there like 4 times.
Yeah.
This is where the hate started for Kevin Sullivan. It was because of this fucking pay-per-view. I'd never heard of the man before we did this podcast.
Have you not?
No.
It was this, and it was... what was the one we watched with Oz on as well?
Great American Bash 91.
Yeah, because he's all over that as well.
And then he's in the Doomsday Cage match as well in Uncensored. So he's done some shit as Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan, like, interfering, but, like, not.
I'm just holding him. I'm just holding him. No, he was a good character wrestler, Kevin Sullivan.
Not really committing to the bit, though.
No.
Especially not in this show.
He's more remembered now for... there's a famous sort of story that he booked his own divorce.
Okay.
Where he was married to Nancy Sullivan.
Okay.
And when he was feuding with Chris Benoit, they bought Nancy as an on-screen person, and to sort of keep up kayfabe, they made Nancy spend time with Chris.
Okay.
Nancy would then leave Kevin for Chris.
Yeah.
And we obviously know what happened there.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% familiar with that story, but as soon as you said Nancy, it all came flooding back.
Yeah. But so obviously the less said about that, the better. In other news, Meng just went like that to the referee, and the ref absolutely shat his pants.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Get him out the corner.
Meng wins.
Or not. It's up to
Meng
you.
wins.
It's up to you.
Ring the bell.
Go and make your scary sons immediately.
His sons aren't scary.
No,
Jacob's scary.
his. Oh, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that Tangaloa is his biological son, and Tamatonga is his biological nephew that he adopted.
Right.
But I think he adopted a lot of his nephews. But Tangaloa is his biological son, which is funny because he's the one that gets all the hate because he can't wrestle.
Yeah. Well, you did say that Meng wasn't known for his wrestling ability, so...
He wasn't known, I don't think, for being a top worker, but he was a serviceable hand. Like, you could put him out there with anyone and it wouldn't stink up the place.
This is like
decent.
The fourth or fifth match we've covered of his, I think. We've had him on the show a bit. He was in that Royal Rumble match because he was teaming with Andre the Giant around that time.
Yep.
He was in the Doomsday Cage match.
Yep.
I think he's done something else as Haku that we've covered. I think.
I can't remember off the top of my head. If it was Haku, it would have been in WWE.
I just remember the big hair.
Don't know why he gave a thumbs up to Sullivan then, or is that just because his thumb's taped?
Maybe. Doesn't spike though, does he?
No, but he did have the Tongan death grip.
Which was?
Which is a nerve hold on the on the trap, I think it was.
Yep. Umaga definitely did that at one point.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I feel like he might have done that to Jeff Hardy in previous episodes.
It just seems like such a lazy thing to do. It's like, oh, they're from Samoa or they're from Tonga, or give them a nerve hold.
Yeah. Oh
God, he just about got him up.
Yeah,
he's muttering to himself.
You see on the footage just there, and my eyes widen as he picks him up for that pile driver because I'm like, is he going to drop Luger on his head?
It looked like it was supposed to be a reversal, didn't it? Like Luger was supposed to stand up and do a what's it?
Haku held Luger for way too long.
Meng's got about 4 different hairstyles going on. Like, he's got an afro, he's got dreads, he's got a mullet.
It also looks permed as well.
Yeah. But you know what? You do you. Is he just shouting in Tongan? Because that is terrifying. He's just got a choke on him and he's just shouting. Not at anyone or anything. He's just like muttering.
Just into the ether. I think he's shouting in English though. I think he's just saying yeah and all right. So the winner of this match goes on to face Macho Man for US title, I want to say.
Okay.
Because we've done the TV title. We know the world title is on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes sense having this match here on the card then, doesn't it? Because it gives Savage more time to rest. Because he got that torn...
Poorly arm, yes.
Yeah,
bad case of arm.
He's got that bad case of arm. Meng does a back suplex, and as the camera zooms in, you just see Sullivan in the background going... just staring into space.
Might as well be cross-eyed. He's like paying that little attention. Even as like Luger gets thrown to the outside, he bends over and there's no expression. He's just talking to him.
Yeah. Oh, you're on the floor there, are you?
Yeah. Do you want to get up and finish the match?
Yeah, fighting Meng.
Yeah, he's my friend.
Tell him I'm his friend so he doesn't rip my nose off.
Yes.
That lightning bolt on his back's pretty cool, though, isn't it?
It's no Lightning McQueen, is it?
That's from Cars?
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go again. Kevin Sullivan's at it again. You think this is bad? I've got to drive him home.
Yeah. In my Lightning McQueen car. Which maybe Sullivan invented.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is predates Cars, doesn't it?
By about 12 years, so yeah.
There you go. We're not giving Kevin Sullivan enough credit, you know.
I've given him all the credit I'm willing to spare.
God, you hate him, don't you?
I do. And this show started it off. Yeah, this pay-per-view has enough Kevin Sullivan for a lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the ill of the dead because he has just recently passed.
I'm talking in kayfabe here.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kevin Sullivan was a lovely man.
You have to separate the artist from the art. If what he's doing is art. It's the noises that Meng makes where he's just holding going,
I think he's genuinely struggling.
It's really scary though. Knowing he comes with that like
can kill many cops in one go.
Yeah,
kind
that
of
reputation
vibe, yeah.
he comes with, him just going, it's just really scary. That was weird. So Meng goes to fall out of the ring, and Luger just like holds his hand. So he goes to fall and goes like just can't.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't meant to happen because Men just gets immediately back into the ring.
What is Heenan talking about Japanese businessmen for?
Excellent question.
Okay, cool. Let's just let him.
We'll leave that context out of it. Whatever it was.
That's a big back body drop.
That looked like a tough back body drop to do from Luger to Meng.
I mean, I don't think he was the strongest person in the world, but Luger, spent a lot of time in the gym because one of the best physiques in wrestling at this time.
You can't really look like that without having some strength.
That's it.
Yeah.
So he'll have some strength just from being in the
Meng's
gym.
just pulled something out of his boot.
It's on his thumb, apparently. Is it a thimble?
Oh, a spike. There's a tiny spike. So...
Yeah, explain this to me then.
I can't, because Meng goes for the pin after the spike with a weapon, so that's the end of the match. As the ref is counting, Sullivan gets in the ring and just kicks Luger.
Oh, doesn't Luger join the dungeon?
But, still, wouldn't you want Meng to have the US title? And Meng is rightfully absolutely livid at Sullivan. You talk about not wanting to piss him off.
Yeah. Sullivan's just like,
baffles my mind.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
So, Mean Gene's backstage. I wonder who he's backstage with, judging by the size of that fucking shoulder. Paul White has never been billed at the same height throughout his career, has he?
No.
7'4"? Not a chance.
He's doing that old 80s wrestling thing where you sit there going, yeah.
Well, just fucking the camera.
Yeah.
He hasn't blinked, I don't think.
Just making tough.
Mean Gene does a brilliant job here because the Giant grabs the microphone, but Gene's still holding it, and he's there like, my hand.
He sounds very nervous, doesn't he? I'm trying to think of other wrestlers that were around his size at this time. I don't think there really was.
It was just Gonzalez. He had a different name in WCW though, didn't he? I can't remember what it was because we've had a match between those two, I think.
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, Giant Gonzalez.
I think it was the something.
Yeah, I can't remember, to be fair.
In terms of height, there wasn't really anybody. We talked about Haystacks because they fought each other on Uncensored, but obviously it was a weight thing and not a height thing with Haystacks.
I'm trying to look for where it says.
I think it's further right than the ones they're showing right now. But
it
it definitely said Crockett.
Little Easter egg.
Ooh. Weird for the camera to focus on it as well. That must have really been an intentional dig. And now here comes Flying Brian and Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson doesn't age.
No.
He's looked like that since he was born.
I think he's just grown out a bit.
Yeah.
But that happens with age, and when you're not in the ring, you don't need to stay in that kind of shape, so that's understandable.
Sting. It will always amaze me just how over he has been his entire career.
He's never not been over, has he?
Listen to the crowd. I mean, it's that questionable theme that we spoke about last time.
Is that what this is that's playing?
The man called Sting. Yeah.
Drives the children wild. Yep, I know the one. Stop touching the children!
He can't leave the bloody children alone.
This is a
can he?
weird bit we developed over the last few months.
Yeah. Wonder if... When is this, 95? This might be before Chris Hansen's time.
I think we might be in peak Chris Hansen time as well. So context for this is that we've got Arn Anderson and Flying Brian versus Sting and Ric Flair, who isn't here yet because Rick was attacked by...
Arn and Pillman.
By them earlier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So essentially this is a handicap match for the time being.
Also, around this time, I forget how big Sting was. I mean, not just like... I mean physically big.
I mean, Arn does make him look small.
I mean, just for like perspective, he was part of a tag team called the Blade Runners with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
That when they broke in together, and they were like a similar size, and obviously
Warrior's huge.
Warrior was huge.
Yeah.
We want Flair, they're chanting, and Anderson's going playing a violin. What was Arn's son?
Brock.
Cool. It was Brock, wasn't it? Yeah.
Brock Anderson.
The few times that he appeared on AEW, I remember him looking exactly like that. Just like they had a time machine and just went back in time.
I think he actually had hair, though. That's the only difference. Brock
Also,
did.
what the hell was Arn Anderson doing then? Sting had him in a full Nelson, and Arn puts both of his feet on the ropes, so Sting just lets go.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Vroom. Down you go, boy. So are we still in that kind of weird midpoint where Sting was transforming between the two gimmicks? Because there's a lot of black in the attire now.
It's getting less neon. But no, he still came out with the shirt with the tassels and stuff.
Because it's like a bright orange and black attire. The face paint, the tights, and then black boots.
I think they started to give him a bit of an edge. We're still a way off Crow Sting.
Yeah, because he wasn't Crow Sting by the time Uncensored had rolled around, and that's the best reference I have because it's the most recent WCW episode we've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fresh in the memory. I wish it wasn't, but the fuck it is.
Yeah, they booked Sting as this like unstoppable monster, really, didn't they?
Well, I've said this on a previous episode where you pointed out this exact match as an exception. They always try and book Sting as someone who can't be got. He's always quite clever when he's facing his opponents.
Just not with tag team partners.
Apparently not. Spoiler for a couple of minutes from now. Did Pillman become like an honorary horseman?
Yeah, he was a horseman.
Yeah. I thought I'd remembered that right.
I mean, this is what I was saying about how big Sting was. He's got Pillman like just above his head, and he's just walking around the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, his arms giving a little bit,
and he's not holding him in particularly like stable places. He's got him under the chin and like on the one hip.
Yeah,
so it's not in the center of his body. He's holding him on the one hip, which feels like it'd be awfully unstable.
They're really bigging up Arn Anderson as well, aren't they? Saying he's one of the greatest. This is why he's taking his time. He's biding his time.
He kind of is, yeah.
And they're looking. They keep looking to the top of the ramp, don't they? They're waiting for the cue, I think. He's interesting build, isn't he, Arn?
Yeah.
He's
like there's obvious muscle definition there, but it's there's rounded edges, shall we say?
It's like that sort of build where you'd say he doesn't work out for show. It's his performance.
He's less sculpted and more needed.
Yeah, that's it. Like, but you wouldn't look at him and say, "Oh, he's never been in a gym before."
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
But yeah, his gimmick sort of lends itself to that, like being just tough, like the enforcer.
Yeah, you don't need to be jacked to have that kind of aura about you.
He doesn't look ripped and he doesn't look muscly, but he still looks like you wouldn't want to mess with him.
Yeah, you don't want to run into him in a dark alleyway, that's for sure.
Because he'd get his
Here he
block.
comes. Flair in plain clothes.
No, the way his shoe comes off immediately, look.
Flair going absolutely mental, and the ref's holding him back, telling him he needs to wait until he's tagged in.
His shoe's just still in the air. That bucket's still on the floor.
Well, they've got to piss in something.
Flair says to the ref, get my shoe. And the ref chucks his shoe at him and he puts it on, look.
And then Flair spends the next 5 minutes of the match just playing to the crowd.
I don't think there is anyone better
No.
at getting emotion from the crowd than Ric Flair. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, because he comes in a few times, doesn't he? But he doesn't touch Arn and Pillman. So they were playing up on a storyline at this point that the Four Horsemen reformed without Flair. And that's why he's fighting them. But it was like all a ruse, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sting just doesn't have that kind of luck, as you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just... It's picking his partners, isn't it?
Surprised Darby never turned on him, to be honest.
That's what I thought would happen, you know.
If it was going to be one of them, I think Sting would have been the one to turn.
Yeah.
Darby, I think, is incapable of being a heel. It's like Jeff Hardy trying to be a heel. Doesn't really work.
Yeah, no, we know what happens when that happens.
Exactly. It doesn't really work, does it?
I'd like to see it.
Darby is too popular with the younger audience to be
Yeah.
a heel. It's like Rey Mysterio being a heel. Doesn't work. Because of the moveset he's got and the general gimmick he's got. It just doesn't fit. Whereas Sting, you could do it.
Yeah. Well, you could argue that Pac's moveset doesn't lend itself to being a heel.
Yeah, I guess. But Pac doesn't throw himself around like those guys do.
He used to. He used to a lot, but he's toned it down a bit now. When he first turned heel, he used to go up to the top rope, didn't he, and tease the...
yeah, just like...
Red Arrow? Black Arrow?
It was Red Arrow in WWE.
Right, yeah.
It was Black Arrow when he switched.
And then he'd jump down, wouldn't he, and do his brutalizer.
Brutalizer!
There's literally nothing happening in the ring. Shivani, Sting!
It's because he's close to getting the tag and Rick's chasing off Brian. Just waiting for that tag.
It's mad, isn't it? Because you've got Sting, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, and yet I can't take my eyes off Ric Flair just doing things.
You can't teach that shit.
Yeah. Is that Sting shouting Rick as well?
It's like, help me!
I don't understand what this is doing.
No. Brian pulling on Arn's arm when he's got the octopus stretching.
Arn's got Sting
Abdominal stretch.
Yeah. And he's just holding Brian's hand. I don't understand what that's doing. Brian Pillman, man. What could have been?
Absolutely.
Like,
how did he pass again? Yeah, I don't remember.
I think I know, but I don't
remember.
I don't want to misrepresent someone that's
no longer with us.
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
Previously undetected heart disease.
Wow.
Which led to,
So I think the same age as well as Eddie Guerrero.
35. Did it just say?
I think
there?
Eddie was 35 too.
Oh man, and it would be 2 years from this pay-per-view that we'd lose him.
Insane.
Utterly ridiculous.
And unfortunately, Lexus King just isn't quite grabbing people the same way that his dad did.
I mean, it's very big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Not many people can pull that off.
No. It's a very hard thing to do when I think you're second generation and your parent was a big star.
Brock Anderson springs to mind.
Exactly. There's a few that have done it, I think.
Charlotte Flair.
Funnily enough, Charlotte Flair was just
David Flair, though. Not so much.
They tried. They really tried. I mean, I think the examples that I can think of with second, third generation wrestlers is they seem to get like bigger stars the further down the generations you get. So like Rock is a third generation star.
Certainly.
And you wouldn't say that his dad was a massive star.
No.
And you wouldn't say that his granddad was massive either.
Orton's the same.
Orton's exactly the same. Roman.
I was going to say Reigns is the same, yeah.
Cody. That was going to be tough shoes to fill. But he's done it. Cody Rhodes. It's really hard to explain what I mean. Like, Randy Orton is Randy Orton. You wouldn't say that's Bob Orton's
No, you
son.
wouldn't. Absolutely, yeah.
And Cody Rhodes, because of who Dusty was, I think will forever be, that's Dusty's son.
Dusty's son.
But he has his own legacy as well. Like, it's not, pun not intended.
And, like, Lexus King, Pillman's son.
Yeah, and until... That's to be, until proven otherwise.
You got to break those chains. To be able to,
that's it. But you have to work almost twice as hard to sort of step out of that shadow and
to prove you weren't
forge your own legacy. Yeah, exactly.
Nepo hire.
Yeah,
which Cody has admitted in the past. He was like, "Yeah, I was a Nepo hire, but I've worked my ass off, and now here I am."
Yeah, they didn't see anything in him really, did they? Like when they were doing Legacy.
We thought DiBiase was going to be the star.
It was Ted DiBiase.
And that's another example as well of he is Ted Jr., but that's Ted's son.
Who else? Curtis Axel.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How do you beat perfect though?
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't Sting's sons just start wrestling training? I mean, obviously until proven otherwise, but that's some massive shoes.
Soraya's parents were both wrestlers as well.
Yeah. I mean, look at, what's her face? Ava Raine?
Ava Raine, yeah. Not really doing much, is she?
No.
Not exactly making waves.
They've tried her in the ring, and it didn't really work. Admittedly, they put a crap gimmick on her. It was Schism.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I would argue they gave up too quickly, though.
Yeah,
we know some wrestlers that have had absolute dog shit gimmicks and then ended up making it work. Stardust comes to mind.
The Rock, for example.
Rocky Maivia, yeah.
I think they've done that to get Ava on TV and get experience being on TV, being in front of a crowd, talking to people.
It's a good excuse to get her screen time as well.
Exactly, yeah. Just get that confidence up.
Oh, here we go. We're getting ready for the hot tag. Flair is feeling it now. Everybody's down apart from Flair.
Yeah, Flair just doing things.
Oh, there we go. Flair's in.
Runs the ropes.
Attack Sting.
all that build up, and it lasts 5 seconds, if that.
It's kind of genius, though. But Sting is so angry.
And like we said earlier, the fact that they don't touch either, like he doesn't attack Pillman.
There were some instances where he sort of hit on and Pillman, but you could tell it wasn't a full hit.
Oh, bad, isn't it? It was all a lie. He's pulled the tape off. Oh.
That's what you get for trusting Ric Flair.
How old is Ric Flair?
Now?
Yeah.
I want to say late 70s.
So how old is he here?
40s.
Because he's got an old man body. I'm just going to say. I mean, I'm not a picture of health, but Flair has looked like that for a long time. He went from being like in shape to looking really old.
Even before that, he was fucking huge.
Yeah, he was.
Like I think he was 300 pounds at one point.
Sorry, in the background, Road Warrior Hawk is on a phone, and it looks so wrong.
And he's next to Mike Tenay as well. And here come the 3 horsemen that just attack Sting.
Classic Flair promo.
Oh, yeah.
But when he's shouting and when he's tensing, you can see his abs.
Yeah.
that someone throws like a drinks carton of like Coke or something, and it lands perfectly for Ard just to go and hold it.
And then drops it. Going back to Rick's body, the fact that he was 300 pounds could very well play a factor in that.
Oh, he's got the excess skin.
That might be what it is.
Okay, yeah, I've got it.
So I believe early in his career he was about 300 pounds. Then after the plane crash, he lost a load of weight and got into shape.
Okay, right. Pillman going, woo!
With those intense eyes that he always
so
had.
Funny.
Woo!
And then he just goes, ha 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 ha. Mean Gene getting really angry that no one's giving me an update on Sting.
So next we have an interview coming up with someone who definitely isn't known for their promo ability.
It's just, yeah, I remember.
It's Lex Luger.
All I can remember about this is he just looks so confused about life, like he's having an existential crisis. Can we just talk about Tenay as well? He looks both 20 and 60.
And he also looks like a sickly child as well, because Luger's so tanned.
He's really thinking about what to say next, isn't he?
I have it here that he says, in the World Championship Wrestling. Like, he's really... I think this is where you first coined the phrase labyrinth of words.
Yeah. I didn't come up with that. I've nicked that from somewhere. I can't remember where, but I'm not clever enough to come up with that. What this reminds me of is... Have you seen Austin Powers?
Yes.
You know, in the first one where he gets unfrozen and he can't control the volume of his voice is what Lex starts doing because he starts shouting at random points in the words.
He's always done that though, isn't he? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Promo.
It's so weird.
And your t-shirts are too small too.
It's so strange.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, not known for his linguistic skills.
Not known for blinking either, apparently.
God, he hasn't, has he?
No. Blink, Lex.
Oh my God, he actually hasn't. This is terrifying.
I'm keeping his gaze. I haven't blinked either.
It's making my eyes water.
I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking until he does. There you go.
Oh, he had to force himself to do it. He was like, and you. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh, don't worry though. You know what's next?
Oh no. Let's go for a wild ride.
Heenan keeps looking at the roof. Look. So this is them explaining the rules, isn't it? And it's a combination of Bischoff really listening to the rules, like pretending to listen, and the guy explaining it being incredibly boring, taking it really seriously.
He's sat there, slumped over with his hands there in his lap. Just like,
right, so what you want to do is you want to push the opponent.
But don't forget that the trucks are joined at the front, so if one goes, the other will also go.
Do you know why they're having a monster truck match?
No.
So in the build-up to this, the Giant ran over Hogan's motorbike with a monster truck.
I find it hilarious, by the way, that this 5'8" man is telling these two giants how to...
Also, there is someone sat in the driver's seat of the monster truck behind Hogan's head.
The Hulkster one, yeah.
And it was clear as day, and the cameras just moved to unframe it.
That is the passenger side. These are American cars.
That makes sense.
But you're still... Why are they supposed to be in there on their own? That's a normal man. What if the trucks go over the side of the building? That normal man is dead. And then they are welding the front of the trucks together.
I've got to sit here and wait for them to weld it together.
Bumper to bumper.
So this was done in as like a way to try and get sponsorship deals for WCW. Why you'd want to get sponsored by monster trucks, I don't know. I don't run a wrestling company. I don't know how it works. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
I love the way Hogan's monster truck has flexing arms on it.
Yeah.
And then Hogan trying to sell inside the monster truck as well.
Oh, it's so tough pressing this pedal with my foot.
It's just...
And what's amazing is that because the giant is so big, he looks like he's flowing out of the truck.
Apparently they spent 7 hours filming monster trucks because it was shot the day before. I'd like to see what the rest of...
If this is the stuff they kept.
Because there's only so many ways you can film from inside the monster truck. You have like a fixed camera, and that's basically it. So there's only like one viewpoint, and there's only so many facial expressions you can pull.
I imagine they had to keep most of it just for these outside shots where you're looking at both of the trucks.
Yeah, sort of the...
7 hours.
7 hours, apparently.
I will say there's like a ring of like bollards and cones around both trucks, and first truck to leave the circle loses.
I don't know what these people in the background were just doing. Someone casually with a hoodie just walking past.
I'm guessing safety people, but not a clue.
Periodically, Heenan just shouts, "This is exciting!"
Like he's manifesting it.
Yeah.
Like if he tells us it's exciting, we'll be like, "Oh, this is exciting." Then
it's like having a laugh track in a comedy.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Like, I like it because I know when to laugh.
Get excited.
Yeah. Hogan looks way too excited, and that's it.
No.
Oh, you gotta go all the way out. Oh, God, this is exciting.
It's like sumo.
Well, they call them sumo monster trucks, don't they? What does that say? Oh, it says Hulkster. Of course it does. They drive 100 miles an hour, did he say?
Even the monster truck has a fucking bandana.
Yeah, brother. They're trying to... He's positioning him to the centre.
They are welded together. There is very little positioning going on here. Plus, neither of their front tyres are touching the ground. They're just taking it in turns, pressing the accelerator. That's what they're doing.
It's just... I can't stop watching the tyres.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of hypnotised by them. Is that rain on the roof or is Hogan just nervous? So there's random placed charges,
which are
it.
Tiny explosions. Not really going to do anything to a monster truck.
History is being made. Yeah, you can fucking say that again.
Yeah, it's putting me to sleep like history as well.
Hogan looks like a reverend in there because the way he's got his
he's got the neck brace.
Yeah,
as well.
he's got
That's
like a little like collar. Collar's the word, isn't it?
There you go. Hogan wins. Pushes the Giants monster truck out of the circle. But you thought we were done there, Jack? You must be shitting. We ain't done yet. There's some fisticuffs to be had.
Oh, he's so angry. He kicks the barrels. Oh, he's got the Giant written on the back of his top, just in case you didn't know who this massive top belonged to.
Yeah. Who does this double duvet belong to? That's the Giants jumper.
Yeah. Thank God he put the Giant on it, or we wouldn't have noticed. It's just Rey Mysterio's.
Yeah. They've gone up to the edge of the roof. They're both of them. And Hogan does some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life. The Giant falls off the roof. And Hogan...
Oh no!
Oh no! My brother!
Just like, oh no! Help! 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 Oh, the Giant's fallen off the roof.
Ah, you ran over my motorcycle, but I didn't want to kill you.
God. And they act like it's the worst thing that's ever happened in wrestling ever.
Well, that's it. He's dead, obviously. Just like Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio ended up being dead after Corbin threw them off the roof.
Oh, yeah.
I know it was Aleister Black. I'm pretty sure the other one was Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, sounds right, doesn't it?
And Bobby's so worried. He wants to make sure the Giant's okay. And the monster truck guy does not give a fuck.
He's just like,
can I go home now?
When do I get my monster trucks back?
Oh, Elvis is there. There's Crockett.
Oh, Jesus, it does.
Yeah. Spelt that way and everything. Right, now time for the match for the TV title.
Is it TV title? Did we get to the bottom of it?
Not TV title. US title. TV title was what Johnny B. Bad won at the beginning of the show. No, I haven't written it down in my notes, so maybe not.
God, imagine, like, watching someone get thrown off a roof as part of, like, a wrestling match. And then you've got to go out and... Oh, you'd be like, just come on then.
Yeah. Both Luger and Savage just look dead serious during their entrances as well.
God, the way Macho stands is so funny. It's just...
I don't know if it's posturing or if he's just that big that's how he naturally stands.
It's probably a bit of both, isn't it? Such a crazy gimmick. Imagine trying to... How would you explain Macho Man?
I don't know how I could.
You ever taken loads of cocaine? That.
Acid.
Yeah.
Acid is the answer. You ever looked into a kaleidoscope? That's Randy Savage.
And now imagine it shouting at you.
While fucking gargling gravel.
His brother's a genius, you know.
Yeah. He's not a genius. He's the genius.
Oh, God. That's the only way this card could be any worse if he was on the card.
Imagine looking down a kaleidoscope and it tries to sell you a Slim Jim.
And it's not LA Knight.
And he doesn't call it a Slim Jim. It calls it a Svelte Timothy.
Svelte Timothy.
Oh, here comes Jimmy Hart. I wonder what he wants.
Probably lost his megaphone.
He never needed a megaphone. Anytime he spoke, any dog in a 1 mile radius started barking.
Knowing what we know about Macho, I find his matches like fascinating to watch.
In what way?
Because he used to sit down with opponents beforehand and literally plan them spot by spot, move by move, and he'd go through it with like meticulous detail. And I don't know why. I just have it after knowing that and then watching the matches through. I find it really interesting to know what he was thinking of. You know what I'm trying to say? Like when you see a spot follow another spot, like he obviously thought of that at some point and went, right, why has he done it that way?
Yeah. Some wrestlers are like that, but some love to improvise. I think it's... I mean, not anybody's going to be the same with that stuff. There's no formula for a great match. Some great moments have been completely improvised.
It's the same with actors. Some actors will only ever do one take, and that's it. Like Anthony Hopkins will only ever do one take in anything. And if he's in a scene with someone that likes to do multiple takes, he's just like, nah.
I've done my bit.
Yeah.
If you fucked up, that's on you.
Because I remember hearing somewhere that he reads the lines over and over and over and over and over again, so he gets them in his head, and then as soon as he said them, he's forgotten them, and that's it. You move on to the next scene.
The only difference here is that with wrestling, there is only one take.
Yeah, agreed. They are the Anthony Hopkins of the wrestling.
Yeah, if you fuck it up, there is no going back. You can't undo it.
You've just got to learn to be very good at like covering your mistakes. Some gimmicks lend themselves to covering mistakes, though.
Yeah,
like some can get away with it.
That's why a lot of wrestlers prefer being heels.
Yeah,
because it's easy to get yourself out of that kind of trouble.
One person that I don't know why it sticks in my head is Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson. Whenever I've seen them botch, they're very good at like covering it. There's a match, funnily enough, on Victory Road that he has with Rob Van Dam, and it is crap. Like I can't remember which way round it is, but one of them goes for a leapfrog and one of them goes under, but they don't quite get it. Like either one of them doesn't jump high enough or one doesn't duck, and they sort of stumble and fall over each other. And the crowd start chanting, you fucked up. And Anderson's like, I meant to do that. And it's characters like that that work, and you can play it. God, we'll have to watch that match at some point.
Oh, we will at some point. Anyone who's... Because we talked about Victory Road 2011, which has the famous Sting versus Jeff Hardy match. And anyone who is aware of trying to find a way to watch that, it's fucking impossible at the moment. Like, TNA haven't put it on YouTube like most of their other pay-per-views. Any DVD of the show is expensive, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nowhere alternate ways to obtain it.
Yeah, they would have clamped down on that. Well, it's one of their most embarrassing moments.
And while we've been talking, Savage has pinned Luger after an elbow drop.
Oh, yeah.
Not a long match.
Well,
Savage couldn't really have long matches, could he?
No, like he... Well, I mean, he could.
He
but
shouldn't.
not in the condition he is
Yeah.
here. Like, yeah. But no, Victory Road was... You could quite easily say it was TNA's most embarrassing moment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, because for so many reasons, it's just it was a low point in TNA's career. It was a low point in Jeff Hardy's career.
No point in Sting's career.
Yeah, just everyone involved. It just was not a nice situation. I know people make jokes about it, and now it's the like pay-per-view that you point to, or at least it wasn't as bad as Victory Road. But yeah, it was a very sort of tragic thing that happened. That's someone hitting their like low point live on TV.
There is only one other example that springs to mind, and it's something that we will also cover eventually, and that's Jake Roberts at Heroes of Wrestling 1999.
That is a tough.
That's
watch.
another man hitting his low point in front of thousands of people.
You can go into it with two different mindsets, can't you? You can go into it and you can see it for the entertainment value and like, oh, look how pissed he is. He's using the snake as a whatever, but
consider what you're doing in that ring.
Yeah, knowing what we know about Jake and the problems that he had with addiction, and it is a tough watch. But that's where you have to separate the artist from the art and watch it for what it is.
Yeah. And
if you're watching it to be entertained, then watch it to be entertained.
Exactly. And for every performer that we can think of that's had those moments, there is a reverse side to that coin. For every Victory Road 2011, there's a TLC at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Well said.
I'm not familiar enough with Jake Roberts to give you an example, but I'm sure he's had some fucking fantastic matches as well.
Oh, yeah.
I just haven't seen them.
Even if he didn't have a good match, Jake Roberts' legacy in itself...
Even as a character.
Yeah, exactly. Speaks for itself. Like, one of the best on the mic ever. You can argue.
Yeah. Well, did something not a lot of people could do in that he could, like, draw you in without raising his voice.
Yeah.
Not many people could do that.
Invented a move that changed wrestling as well. It's a move that you see in, and I don't think this is an exaggeration, almost every match.
Yeah.
Now. And that was him. And it's mad to think that DDT was a finisher at one point.
Yeah.
Like, you literally see it in like every single match. Or a variation of it.
But enough about that. Let's watch Hogan versus Giant.
You know what Hogan's walking out to? American made. God damn, what a theme. God, he is American made, isn't he, Hogan?
Not right now, though. He's out in plain clothes and not looking impressed. He's taken the mic from Michael Buffer.
Has he ever started a promo without saying, you know something?
Brother.
Yeah, or let me tell you something.
Probably.
Yeah.
But God knows when.
I like the way he comes out and he's like, I might have just killed the giant, but I'm sorry. You've apologised.
That's okay. Fine. No jail time for me, brother.
That's fine. So, no, I said I'm sorry. And then the giant just comes out.
Fine.
Inexplicably okay.
Not a scratch on him.
So Bischoff said this was a weird thing because they weren't like a supernatural stable or anything. And he does say that this gets a lot of slack for the giant coming out just completely fine. And he points to like the Undertaker being killed off and resurrected.
like on WWE TV and saying the reason they got away with doing stuff like that was because they had more money, they had better production values. If you hadn't spent all your fucking money on monster trucks, maybe you could have done something as well.
Also, that is bullshit because WCW had Ted Turner behind them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just...
They had more money.
It's just Bischoff making excuses, isn't it? It's just, but to use the excuse, we didn't have enough money. How much is Hogan's contract? How much were those monster trucks?
How much is Savage's contract?
How much was the 7 hours you must have hired cameramen to film?
How much is Luger's contract? How much is Sting's contract?
How much was that Harley that you gave away to free for that weird meat family?
But Hogan's got to play some mind games with us, Jack, because he's adorned his forehead with the Taskmaster's face paint.
God, it's strange, isn't it?
Why?
So, interesting fact. This is Paul White's Big Show, Giant, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
His WCW debut match.
Yeah.
This is his second ever match. Recorded match.
Bloody hell.
And you know what? He doesn't look lost at any point. You can kind of see why he would go on to have the career that he'd have.
Talk about going straight to the top.
Mm.
This was also the first time Hogan ever wrestled in black. So he was red and yellow up to this point.
Because they say it earlier on, don't they? He had to tap into his inner darkness to fight the Dungeon of Doom. He's got to walk with the fire, brother.
That's exactly what this is, but it becomes a precursor to Hollywood Hogan.
I didn't even... I wonder if he wore the same strap then.
Maybe.
I like the way the ref has to climb up on the ropes to break the grip of the Giant. Yeah, Hogan does sell for the Giant here, doesn't he?
You can understand why he would. Because he's not called a Giant for nothing.
Well, you got to think from a wrestling psychology point of view, the more Hogan sells, the better he looks.
Yeah.
Because he ends up overcoming that. So if he sells his ass off, he looks so much better when he comes back.
When he inevitably hulks up, yeah.
He's too strong, he says. This son of a bitch is too strong, brother. Jesus.
Maybe don't say that right in front of him. He'll hear you.
Jimmy Hart with a show of concern. He's going, yes, yes, on the outside. Oh, the Hulkamaniacs, he's got him. He's charging him up. Oh, I wonder if it's all a ruse.
He's wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, he is.
Hogan is wearing cowboy boots.
He is American made, after all.
America's a big place, mate. Not all cowboys.
Oh, that was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the few times a Giant looks like lost. He tries to go for... It looks like a power slam. But he doesn't know where to put his arms.
Yeah,
and Hogan,
like, oh no.
Hogan just kneels down and it's like, This is before that story that Stone Cold told.
Which one?
Where he apparently taught Big Show how to be a Giant.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you telling me that story.
He said, you're a giant. Like, you can do what you want to people.
And they can't do much about it.
Yeah, and he said he kept trying to get Stone Cold, kept trying to get Big Show to fire up. And he kept winding him up in the ring.
Yeah.
Slapping him, throwing potatoes at him, poking him in the eye and stuff. And apparently Big Show got so wound up, he put his hand on Austin's face, shoved him into the corner to say, stop it. And Austin just went, way to fire up, kid.
I'd love to have seen what he was thinking in that moment. Just, oh shit, this is what he wanted me to do all along. Okay, here we go.
Well, that's it. Because he said that in Austin doing that, there was a light bulb moment and Big Show went, you know what? I can just do that to people and there's nothing they can do about it.
Exactly. If
I
I remember correctly as well, I think Regal was one of the first people to meet Paul Paul White when he came over to WCW.
Right. Okay.
I think I remember him telling the story about them meeting in a hotel because I think they bunked together the first night.
Right.
And he didn't know. He just knew there was a new superstar coming in, and in walks in Paul White, and he's like, "You're doing all right, big lad."
Yeah. Was that on his podcast?
Yeah, he did mention it on the podcast.
I can see that. You'll be all right, big fella. And he was right. That someone's got an eye for talent.
Former world champion in both companies.
I thought we were talking about Regal.
Yeah, Regal having an eye for show.
Yeah. His son. We were talking about second generation wrestlers earlier. Yeah, that's
Dempsey.
That's still TBD, isn't it?
He has the separation though, to a certain point.
What do you mean?
Like, it's not obvious he's Regal's son. Obviously, they haven't made it a secret.
It's not, but when you know, you can see it. Like the mannerisms, he's got the same hair for a start.
Yeah,
and it's the way he turns his head. Sometimes you're like, God, that is just Regal incarnated.
It is the same with Ava Raine though. You wouldn't immediately think she was Dwayne's son, daughter.
Well,
rather.
she's not.
Me. This pay-per-view's rotting my brain.
But no, I think the future is very bright for Charlie Dempsey.
Mm-hmm.
If they use him right, which
They will.
I think they are at the minute because he's the one that's going to other companies at the minute. Like he wrestled in Japan recently, representing WWE.
And you know Regal would be a big fan of doing that.
Yeah, go and learn all you can.
Yeah, learn all of the wrestling and then come back to us.
I'm not sure how old he is, Charlie Dempsey.
I'm not sure. Mid to late 20s, if I had to guess.
Yeah. It sounds really stupid to say, but I kind of hope he's younger than that. And that way he's got more time to learn. And then that way when he does hit his like mid-20s, he's like Randy Orton levels. Because Orton won the belt when he was 24, didn't he?
Still holds the record for youngest to this day. And it's been 20 years. We still haven't had a younger world champion than him.
We looked this up, didn't we? There's only two people that could feasibly do that at the minute. And one was like Javon Evans.
Yeah,
in
it's Javon
NXT,
Evans.
And I can't remember the other one.
Oh,
Saying
gosh.
that, I didn't notice any females on that list.
Ava Raine's younger.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Tiffany Stratton, I think, is still younger.
Right.
Just. So
She could do it then.
maybe. I could be wrong with that, but I know she's still young.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, because, I mean, fuck this match off, right?
Are we watching a match?
Yeah. Supposed to be. 25.
25.
See, it's past.
Yeah.
But there you go. I knew she wasn't very old. Yeah, Javon Evans. There was only one more, but I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was anyone that's near a world title at the minute. That's crazy. So when was Orton on TV?
When he was like 23, I guess.
That's absolutely mad, isn't it?
For reference, Bron Breakker's 27. For reference.
That's madness.
Tyler Bate is also 27.
If he hadn't been an absolute menace backstage, he could have done it.
Tyler Bate?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Because he was... How old was he when he won...
19.
That's mad.
He was 19 when he won the NXT UK Championship. And he still wasn't the youngest champion ever in WWE. He is second youngest.
I know this. It was it Rene Dupree?
It was Rene Dupree.
And it was a tag title.
He was also 19, but just
Amazing.
younger.
Oh, he's biting him right on the tits.
That's his shoulder.
God, he literally just went...
It's big enough to be a tit, but that's Hulk Hogan's shoulder he's biting.
It just looked very weird.
They're just having a little cuddle in the ring. Just having a little cuddle. That's not a bear hug.
No, but it's really intense.
Tell Kevin Sullivan that.
Speaking of really intense. Sullivan just like, yeah, that's definitely definitely a big
chicken nuggets for tea.
Yeah. I can't remember if I locked the door when I left.
Could order an Indian.
Yeah.
Or Indian food, because apparently that's racially charged to American audiences.
Yeah,
We're eccentric
okay.
Brits, darling. We can get away with it.
Yeah.
Oh, you deadly delight, you.
Did he say, "Oh, you motherfucker"? Then?
Probably. Oh, you deadly delight, you. I'd like to crack open a poppadom and dip it in you. Oh, I would. Oh, God.
There's a big foot!
Oh, it's
I
a
forgot this was the origins of the big foot! Oh my god.
Impressive. Hogan managed to get his foot that high, to be fair.
Yeah. I found a clip the other day of Meng kicking Big Show in the face. It's just from like standing, it just went, ooh.
Ridiculous. Here comes the leg drop.
After a body slam as well. Oh, Jimmy Hart just...
He's attacked the referee.
smacked the ref. Oh, Jimmy.
Hogan doesn't know what's going on.
What happened, he says. Oh, God.
Jimmy's playing innocent.
You know what's coming now, don't you?
I do.
Did you see the picture?
Yeah, just
look at...
Oh, no. I'll go back to sleep.
He's still doing it, look.
So?
Absolutely ridiculous. What were we saying about him not being lost at any point?
Yeah, Jimmy Hart just hit Hogan with the belt. Not that it's fucking done anything. He's no-sold it, essentially.
Oh, he's got him in
A hug.
got him in a shit bear hug.
It's a hug. It's just a hug.
I could crawl through that gap.
Yeah, and Kevin Sullivan.
He's just holding
Just
the belt
teasing
like,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, this is yours, isn't it?
What do you
Yeah.
What do you think it's about?
Yeah.
And here we go.
Oh, yeah. It's... Oh, no, we got Luger and Savage first.
Okay, that's
to
fine.
save the day.
There he is, the
Oh.
fucking Yeti.
Yeti.
Do you know anything about the Yeti?
Not a thing.
Right. Let's get this out of the way first. It's a fucking mummy.
It is
Right.
a mummy. It's not a Yeti.
It's wrapped in toilet paper. It's a fucking mummy, right? The gimmick was originally supposed to be Giant Gonzalez.
Okay.
He's
Oh, they're doing a double
They're
team hug on Hogan.
Hogan limp.
Yeah. That's one way to put it, yeah.
So yeah, it was originally supposed to be Giant Gonzalez. He was having health problems at the time, so I think they just went and got the next biggest guy they could find,
Yeah.
who was a guy called Ron Reese. Whenever you hear people talk about Ron Reese, they always mention how small his arms are. I don't. I mean, he's walking like Frankenstein. Like, are you a Yeti, a mummy, or what? What are you doing?
I see what you mean about his arms, but I reckon they're padded. Just in toilet paper.
Speaking of padded, he just had lifts in his shoes because he was only an inch.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He was an inch taller than the. Now they're limp.
Oh, they're double team hugging Savage now, and he's going into a torture rack. Hogan's already been in the torture rack from Luger.
I think they had him employed because there was a pay-per-view called World War III that had 3 matches, and I think three rings, sorry.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to have a giant in each ring. So they had the giant, they had Ron Reese, and Giant Gonzalez were all employed at the same time. You might be shocked to hear this was the only time he did the Yeti gimmick on WCW.
Shut up.
But don't
Gold
worry.
like this.
But, well, he went on to be a character called the Super Giant Ninja. So don't worry about that.
Trust me, I won't.
He was trained by Big John Studd.
Ah, Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah.
Big John Studd.
Yeah, Big John Studd. He went on to be in Raven's flock.
Oh, okay.
And because of that, he actually got into a video game, WCW Revenge.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's ECW and WCW, and both have Raven's Flock. So
on the N64. I think he was called Reese, or Ron Reese.
Okay.
In it. But, oh man, ridiculous, isn't it?
Just a tad. Tad. So, the match is over.
Sorry, I'm just going to carry on my rant about Ron Reese.
Oh, yeah,
I feel
carry on.
really bad for him in this gimmick. Having been trained by Big John Studd and everything. He retired in 2005, and then he actually had 2 matches in 2019.
Okay.
One of them was the Yeti.
Okay.
It was in like a sort of gauntlet battle royal thing that also had Glacier, if you remember.
I remember Glacier, yeah.
And
Brian Pillman Jr. won that match. So that happened
Yeah,
in 2019.
it did.
Utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. But match is over. The bell hasn't rung. The announcer's sort of gone, the title can't change hand by disqualification. Hogan is still the champion. And that's it. That's how this pay-per-view ended.
It's just madness, isn't it? I found a quote from Bischoff. I'm gonna read it to you.
Read it.
I'm gonna read it word for word. I've got it written here. Bear with me. He sums it up very nicely. He says, "I don't know. I approved it. My name is on it. I can't hide from it. Somewhere in an archive somewhere, there's a credit that says I'm the executive producer, so I got to take the heat. It was a horrible thing to do to Ron Reese, to Hulk Hogan, to everyone who bought a ticket, and to everyone who bought the pay-per-view. I mean, it was horrible." Well said, Eric.
Yeah, couldn't say that better myself. Shall we wrap this shit up?
Yep.
So we never have to do it again.
What, like a Yeti or a mummy?
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you so much for watching or listening to us talk over WCW Halloween Havoc 1995. Give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, depending on where you are. Let us know what you like, what you think of the episode. Let us know what other episodes you'd like us to cover in future. Until next time. Not even a bar. Just